Good evening, and welcome to episode 173 of Folks Talking Sports. I am KG Chris Gardner, and joining me is two of my colleagues slash brothers, Willie Gibson. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Mr. A.D. Moore from the Ad Max Corner. How you doing, sir?
Hey man, can y'all see that? I'm already picked. I'm
Oh,
already.
we're not doing
Oh,
that.
see.
We're not doing that.
hey,
Oh,
hey, I
Let's
I
go.
know I know I know quite a few Canes, man. You know what? They'll rub off on you.
well, tonight's we're going to talk football for the most part. So let's get into that real quick. The results right there: Miami beat Ole Miss, and Indiana just dog walked, to borrow AJ Jones' phrase,
Mhm.
Oregon. So now they're going to face off. Let me say hello to Queen Wanda Polk. How are you doing? Oh, and let me add another queen in our lives, Kenitra Pulliams. She's traveling right now, so she's unavailable to join us this evening on FTS. So we wish her safe travels. But Will, Mr. Moore, your thoughts on the CFP semifinals and or the championship matchup next Monday between Miami and Indiana?
I believe
Well,
Signetti. I believe him now. I don't know why, but I do.
well, I guess I've already tipped my hand.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I, I guess so. Hey man, look, let me go ahead and get this off my chest. You know, when the selections came out, a lot of people dogged out JMU and they dogged out Tulane. After that butt kicking that IU put on Oregon, you know what? I think everybody that dogged out those kids from JMU and Tulane need to shut the hell up and go back to, because to me, yeah, there's not going to ever, they talking 12 teams, then they're going to go to 16. Somebody's going to always be a little PO'd about some teams not getting selected, okay? But when those teams are in there, I tell you what, unlike Texas Tech, and I had picked Texas Tech, and I watched Texas Tech the whole year, guys. But they didn't even score, and I realized that JMU and Tulane scored in garbage time, but at least they got on the scoreboard. Okay, so
But AD,
I'm just
a zero's on a scoreboard too, AD. Zero.
yeah, I know, and that was Texas Tech, and
That's what I'm
and
saying.
Texas
So it was
and
on the scoreboard. Still a
And I'm
yeah,
gonna be petty. They bought that 0-2. Oops.
oh yeah, yeah. They paid a lot of money for that, but you know what? Let me put it like this: that's the way that's the future. That's future college football as we know it now, because you
well.
got.
It,
Go ahead, go
no.
ahead,
I was
KG.
going to say it's the future in that new schools are paying, but we all know
Yeah.
that players been getting paid for years.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just some programs are doing a better job of it. Hello, SEC, and and other programs now are doing it, and those folks in the SEC are hating on Texas Tech for taking some of their players, just doing stuff that y'all used to do. As do you remember? Michael Resco said a few years ago, NIL means now it's legal. So
mm-hmm.
there you go.
Yeah, the $100 handshake after the game from those nice boosters that would come in the locker room. That basically really weren't. They were allowed. I don't know if they were officially allowed in, but they would stop by certain lockers and hey guy, hey, congratulations, and give you that nice handshake. And all of a sudden, you have your few $100 in your hand, so you can go take the girl out to the mouth shop. Back then, now they driving cars just as they paying for their mother's houses and everything now with the amount of money these kids making in NIL now, man.
Some of those said boosters may or may not have had a locker in the locker room, reportedly, perhaps. And yeah, like you said, these kids now, the young man from Washington signed a $4.5 million deal and tried to jump the portal because somebody else
Mm-hmm.
offered him $6.
Yeah.
Like it's out of hand. I mean, I understand the bag. I get it. I really, really do. But at what point are we looking at, a degree or At some point, like for example, I live here. I live here in Columbus, Ohio, and if you are a Buckeye, a former Buckeye in Columbus, Ohio, you are set. It does not matter. You're a Buckeye. I know Buckeyes right now that played 25, 30 years ago because they played for the Buckeyes. Their home base is here. They have that love, that Buckeye love. Now you have kids. There's one young man. He started at Oregon. He transferred to Nebraska, and last week he transferred to UCLA. Where does he go?
Right.
Where does he go after he finishes playing? Where's his base? Where do they know? They don't know him anywhere. So I just don't. I mean, that's among other things. I mean, but that's just kind of some of the things I think about. Like, well, what the bag?
To add to that, what about the APR?
Yep.
The graduation rates. How are these transfers impacting those APRs and graduation rates? We don't hear about that anymore. The only time this college football season we heard about APR was when teams were at 6-6 and said no to bowl games, and the NCAA went down to teams 5-7 because the APR was good enough to get them into if they wanted to accept it. That's the only time I heard about this. No one cares about so and so transferring every year, school to school. Got a player who won the Garvey Lewis Award. Very proud of him. He's in the Garvey Lewis Award family. PJ Haggerty went to TCU out of high school, Tulsa, Memphis, now Kansas State. Where is he going to go? Who's going to acknowledge him, raise his jersey up?
You know what? With the amount of money these kids are being able to accumulate with the wealth, now it's left up. And here's the thing, guys. At least from my perspective, you better go out and get some good financial knowledge base, somebody to help you with this, with the amount of money some of these kids are making. Because if that is not the case, you're gonna see some kids like what's happening to some of our the quote unquote professional athletes will that all of a sudden now, how do you make $70 million within your career and all of a sudden you find yourself broke? Well, let me see, there's a couple of divorces, or you got a few extra kids out here and there. So money can go quick. Just because you done made within two trips or three trips and transferred 2 or 3 times, and you pick a bag up here, that bag might be worth $4 million. You pick a bag up here, that bag might be worth the same amount. Okay, so you in 3 years you done accumulated $12 million. Oh, wait a minute, you got to pay that 2% or 3% to that agent, and then Uncle Sam's gonna be standing there too as well. So really, that's your gross. And so a lot of folks thinking, oh man, that's a nice bag. But that Louis Vuitton bag comes with some attachments that a lot of guys don't understand. And that happens even to you when you do go professionally all the way.
And that's it, KD. That's it, AD. As far as professionally, where did we lose? That the goal was to get to the league. You don't hear those. It's like, I got to get the bag now. But the bag is the NFL. We thought.
Or the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Or the NBA, the professional league. So I understand. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti NIL. I understand. Get the bag, but be smart about it. Okay. For example, there's a young man at a Big Ten school. Y'all figure it out. Y'all know where I live. He had 4 catches last year. 4 catches. Now he's in line to play a larger role this year. Reportedly, his agent went to said school and asked for a 7-figure NIL deal. They said no. So he jumps in the portal. So it's like, you're not even waiting to get to see what I can do. It's like, I want it now. I want it now. And if you don't get it now, then it's on to the next one. It's just, it's a lot that we're missing as far as, okay, yes, I want to make money now. Yes, compensate me. But the end game is to get to the professional ranks. That's where the true bag is.
Yeah. But you know what's...
AD, let me say this real
Go
quick.
ahead, man.
I'm sure I know y'all agree with it, but the agent, he's at fault of that to a point. But the agent got that idea from someone, and most likely was that kid's parents and or guardian.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids are still kids to a point. They're 18, 19, 20, whatever. But if their parents look at their child as a meal ticket and have looked at that child as a meal ticket since junior high, then all these kids knows get that bag. Hey, son or daughter, we're gonna put you back, hold you back a grade so you're bigger than everybody else in your grade level. We're gonna get you ready for the pros, all this kind of stuff, and then go to class. Well, maybe, but I know so and so people can get you 7 figures coming out of high school. But dad, I don't want to go to that school. I want to go with the school where I'm going to go to. I want to go to an HBCU. No, well, they're not going to pay enough, son. So we're going to go to this other school. And so it could be the parents as well.
Yep.
There's a lot of adults who are forgotten about their kids, and some of them are trying to still live through their kids.
Oh, KG, I don't disagree with that at all. I think here's the situation, and for those parents and those that might be listening to us right now and probably saying that we sound like a bunch of old fogies and we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Let me explain something to you. What is it? 1/2 of 1% that's going to leave college football and make it to the pros. 1/2 of 1%. Okay, it's only 1,600 spots in the NFL. All right, and every last one of those kids say, I'm gonna make it. It's not, and those other kids are gonna make it. Only problem with that, all it takes is one hit, one accident, one slip. All it takes is your ACL to snap, and bam, whatever the case. And guess what? Guess what happens to that bag? It just eviscerated. It just and so where are you then? So my whole forte, if those kids if you're gonna live like that, I hope somebody got enough sense. Go out there and like those kids used to do. I would still encourage them to go buy them insurance policies.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean, we hadn't heard that term in a while, but I would encourage them kids. Hey, even you getting all this money, I would go invest in a nice insurance policy just to ensure that we have some income because. Gentlemen, all it's going to take is one play, one hit, one slip, and you know what? It's done.
And Will, you can talk about this as well. AD played football. A lot of kids' first round prospects forego a bowl game for fear of risking that injury. And haters, criticize where's the loyalty to your players, where's the loyalty to your teammates, to your school, and you got the 4-year, 3-year scholarship, whatever scholarship, and now you're bailing on your program because you're getting ready for the NFL. To that end, Houston tight end Tanner Koziel, he played in the bowl game. He's going to be drafted day 2 minimum. What is that? First round day 1 is what, right? First round day 1.
Yeah.
And 2 and 3 are day 2, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And then
he's probably day 2.
Day 2.
Second round, third round. I was surprised he played in the game because he's going to get drafted. And then when he got hurt in the game, I thought to myself, I hope he got an insurance policy. I hope he has a draft policy. Somebody take care of him in case he does get injured. He got injured twice in the game. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. But everybody, of course, said, Tanner Koziel, he's so loyal. He's so loyal. This is his first time his first year in the program with Houston. And look at him. He is just such a great, he's representative of college football today. And he's so unlike everybody else who bailed on his teammates.
No, that's a business decision that he made for himself and the school because, hey, how long ago did Lane Kiffin lead those kids at Ole Miss to go to Baton Rouge?
Mm-hmm.
But 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a business decision. So
in the same conference.
yeah. So my attitude, this is why, and I like the comment that Mr. Big Tex had, let Saban come in and fix it. That's why Saban left.
Yep.
Okay? Saban left because of NIL. Saban didn't want to put up with trying to pacify 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. As good of a program and as successful as Saban was, and I'm, I'm having the thing about it, I got a couple of Saban's high-profile players that's on the Texans and been talking to them and on the background and about being in Alabama and everything, and knowing what he had provided for his players and everything. There, Saban didn't want to put up with that anymore, man. Saban said, "Up, had enough," and Saban walked. So KG, going back to your point about the young man at U of H and hoping what he had, you know what? I think that's an individual decision. And who the hell am I to sit up here and criticize whether you play or don't play for a bowl game and so forth? Because remember when the bowl games, we've been around long enough. Remember when there were just those few bowls and whoever the chairman of the bowl committee in those respective places, those were the ones that was getting fat and rich.
Yep.
And then there was a limit on the swag bag that those kids got. Chris used to come back and tell us, "Oh, hey man, the swag bag amount is up to what? $175. Come on, man. These kids will blow $175 going to a pizza joint right now."
Yep.
And don't think nothing of it.
Nope.
And let Saban come in and fix it. Saban don't want to come in and fix this.
He doesn't.
Because that's, as much as I admire and respect Nick and what the job he done at Alabama and what the tutorial program, and go back and look at his graduation rate, and I'm talking about white and black players.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Saban is an exception to the rule, in my opinion. And Will, you can speak more about your university, but this, from even what I've read and everything, he becomes an exception because of and because Saban had a rotating door with coaches coming in and out of that place, man. Coaches come down to rehab and do everything else, and he still was winning the national championship. But I think NIL was his bailiwick, and he just said, "Nope, can't do it."
And Corey, good evening to you. And Tanner did say this. Miss Wanda is right. He never played in a bowl game before at his previous schools. He wasn't going to miss it. That is admirable. But I still hope he had an insurance policy though.
What were the injuries? I'm unfamiliar with the young man. What injuries did he?
It was nothing. He took a hit to the knee, and then took a hit to the head. So it was nothing that kept him out of games, anything like that. But the first hit, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that looked kind of bad," and I was like, "Oh no!" And then he caught a first down catch late in the game to ice it, and he stayed on the ground there for a while. I'm like, "Oh," but he's just players like him. I just hope, and I didn't hear. I just hope he had an insurance policy. I hope his people, his representation, was smart enough to get an insurance policy just in case any injury he suffered in the bowl game would have knocked down his draft stock. He's fine. He's good to go. But who was it? The Miami back. Was it Willie McGinnis? Who was running back? Willis McGahee.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was blown up in the bowl game. And who was it? Wasn't there like a defensive player for Notre Dame or somebody?
Yep, Notre Dame. It was against Ohio State, the 2016 Fiesta Bowl. Yep, Jalen Smith.
So, yeah, it's a risk. So, these guys need to take care of themselves. It is a business, but the kids have to look out for themselves. The parents need to look out for their kid, not for themselves. But as a former player, answer this. But before we get to more of the questions from the comments, everybody watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or LinkedIn, do you have any ideas or ways to fix it? Suggestions to fix college football, college basketball, or as I say, semi-pro sports?
Yeah, basically college is not the D league anymore. It's probably the A- league, because that's basically what is boiling down to. I just want to go back to what Mr. Big Tech said. He said that what Saban said he would do. Saban came up with a couple of points, and when the portal, trying to readjust for the portal, because the portal opened up while these kids are still playing bowl games. Yeah. Okay, you adjusting some things like that. I don't disagree with that. But overall, for what it needs to get done, you're gonna have to go to Congress to get it done. All of those guys are waiting on Congress to fix their problem. You know what? On the scheme of things, what we got to deal with in this country, I'll be darned if Congress take up this issue and you got folks around here that they can't pay for their own insurance or need subsidy to pay for the insurance because of the cost of medical care and everything. That's not an issue. That's not a high issue with me as far as Congress is concerned. Okay? Fix your own damn problems in C2A. They can fix it if they had the will to do it. Fix it. They can do it. But the thing about it, it's been a one-way street with them. Though it was only a certain amount of folks that was making all the money. These players, it was the players at Northwestern, Will, that, when they literally filed and wanted to be a union, and in order, okay, so those players had enough, and ones at Northwestern actually filed a lawsuit for them to be treated and to go into a union, and that was what 15 or 20 years ago, I believe. Okay, yes. And so you got the situation, with the UCLA player, with the name, that's the reason now. He didn't make anything off of NIL, but you know what? This is the Pandora's box that's been open right now. And guess what? You're not putting the genie back in the box. It's not going back. Okay? Loyalty means what? Loyalty means as long as you paying me. Because these coaches come in and these coaches treat these institutions like a rotating doors. So you expect a player to be loyal, and like I tell kids, that year that you're getting recruited, guess what? Next year, you know what? You already in. Guess what? He just updates his speech and tell that next group of players the same thing, except he updates it a little bit. You may not have that same coach there 2 years or 3 years in a row there because they moving on. Because that's the way they feed their family. That's the way they accelerate and move up the coaching chain because, he's a great recruiter. Remember what they said about the coach at LSU when, was Lane going to keep the interim coach at LSU? Because he was what? He was a great recruiter. How do you think he was the one that got a bunch of those players in there? The players are the pipeline, but the money is part of that pipeline too. It's just not the players anymore. It is the NIL. That's just the nature of the beast that we got to deal with now. I'm done. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're right. I mean, and to that point, loyalty. Was Lane Kiffin loyal? Lane Kiffin was loyal to Lane Kiffin, and these players. Again, it's just it has to be fixed. Like there's so much there to unpack. The NCAA, you cannot have the portal open in the middle of the playoffs. That's like the NFL. Okay, so the NFL starts free agency the day after the championship games. Well, you got two teams preparing for the Super Bowl, but you got free agency. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. That's number one.
The NCAA,
NIL, the portal, the transfer portal has to. Then again, I got to go back to my education piece. In the middle of the semester, in some of these instances. So Ohio State, for example, Ohio State starts class tomorrow. So if a kid out of the portal decides to come to Ohio State on Tuesday, how does that work? Class has started. It should be the end of the academic year, May, after spring ball, which they had a transfer portal after spring, but they took that away to bring it just to one window in January. To me, it has to go back to after spring ball, the end of the academic year. It's a lot. It's just a lot.
The NCAA for years kicked the can down the road, never solved its problems, clung to students are not employees, students are not this, they're not that. We don't want to negotiate. They can't form a union. We don't want to do any of these things. Then they lost in court over and over and over again. Now they're trying to go back in time and change some rules. Will's right. It makes too much sense to have the transfer portal at the end of the academic year. But common sense ain't common, especially when it comes to the NCAA. Allowing kids to join programs mid-season What is that? And it has been around for a while, but just because it's been around doesn't mean teams did it. Schools did it. It is just so much going on, and the NCAA, prince of the kicking can down the road, is hoping for Congress, kings of kicking can down the road, to solve problems. This ain't gonna work. It is the blind leading the blind, hoping to be made able to see. That's what this all is. It is just so. I don't blame the kids. I blame the adults on pick a side for allowing this stuff to happen, for not solving the problems. I don't blame Scott Drew at Baylor for adding James Najee. Hell, if the rule allows it right now, go ahead and do it. James Najee if he were an NBA player, he'd be in the NBA. Okay. He was drafted by an NBA team. He was drafted by the Pistons. But he never played in the NBA and he never signed an NBA contract. He was a non-factor yesterday in Houston's beatdown of Baylor in Waco. Non-factor. So all the talk about this and don't blame Scott Drew. Place the blame at the feet of the folks in the headquarters in Indianapolis. That's the NCAA. Because they don't pass rules anymore because they're afraid to lose in court. So that's where it is. And I would love, and I'm not going to make a promise I can't keep, but I would love to hear Coach Sampson, what he would do to fix college basketball on this side regarding transfers. And his ideas probably won't be far from what Coach Cal said.
Mm-hmm.
Allow a kid to transfer one time, the immediate transfer. After that, he has to sit out a year. He or she has to sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the coach is, fired. That's a change in coaching. Beyond that, that's it. None of this every year. Oh, well, I'm not playing enough, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Or I'm not being paid enough, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Stick to your choice. You made the decision. Ride it out. Now, if you did not think through your decision initially, in the words of AD and my friend, mentor, Jerry Lee Woodley Jr., well, that's a you problem. You and your folks didn't think it through. Well, you only took one visit. Well, that's your fault.
You get 5.
You get 5.
Yeah.
I'll tell all the kids.
Take all 5.
Take your 5 visits.
And take some unofficial visits.
5 official and unofficial. You can take them as many as you want.
Yeah.
But some kids I'm going to go ahead and we're putting wrapping a bow around this. But I know a young lady came to Houston, UH basketball. Took one. Houston was her only visit. Her only visit. She never played. Never played for UH. Ended up transferring. And I don't know where she is now. Took one visit, one official visit. And she did not play at all for UH. She spent more time posting selfies than she did scoring buckets. That's where some kids are. But also, some kids do have to look out for number one, think for themselves, ask questions for themselves as well, and don't be afraid to ask those questions. Some kids should be able to see through the BS that a coach is spinning, which is another reason why we want everybody to take those official visits. Because some coach just going to tell you whatever, like AD said minutes ago. That same stuff coach told you, next year you're going to tell the same thing to another kid when he's recruiting over you. And then you'll be like, Coach, you told me I was going to start. Did I? Or did I say you were going to get a chance to start? Coach, you going to do me like that? Hey, I'm trying to win. We're trying to win here in this program. Did you go to class today, Player X? Coach, Not really. Oh, so you doing something wrong too? Oh, I was spending time with my lady. Oh, so you weren't in the gym. You weren't in the classroom. You weren't in the first row like all the players were supposed to. Remember that? The real programs, the players, athletes sat in the first row. So the professors knew where they were, who they were. Coaching staff would look in the room. Yeah, my players are here. Thank you, Professor. Just checking. Where's that now?
Some programs are still doing that, Chris. Believe it or not, some programs
The winning ones are, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there are some programs that, because of the nature of the shipping area, the nature of that particular institution, they're still doing that. They're still, there are still some programs with that word integrity. What is that really personifies integrity? Integrity means by all of a sudden, at the end of the day, once you strip all of this stuff away, what I was saying, what does your word mean? What does that mean? What is your word worth? Okay, so at the end of the day, if you can't be believed does your word is there a bond in your word? Like I say, your word, no paper should be able to hold your word, because above everything else, that's your integrity. That's who you are. So, and if they find out that you can get bought out for A&W root beer malt and float and a hamburger and some fries and a couple of $100, that's what you're going to get when you lower yourself to that standard instead of elevating your standard to a standard above. What you said that you're above reproach, then you settle in. There's old saying, when water finds its low, flood and water will find its lowest point. And that's more than likely that's the weakest point too.
AD said a soda and a float or a jet. Oops. Oops. Did I say that out loud? I damn sure did. Yep, I sure did. All right. Will, what makes Indiana football so good? I mean, they're undefeated. Why are they so good?
Kirk Cignetti. I mean, I again, I've looked for every reason not to believe it, but I do now. I really, really do. It's him. It's leadership. It's his leadership. He doesn't have the best players, but he's just a leader. He's a leader of men, literally. And it's showing. And by the way, it also helps that Mark Cuban, class of '81 at IU, gave to the athletic department for the first time ever 2 years ago, and this year's check was bigger than last year's.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to bring that up next.
Yep.
To the people, especially the SEC people.
But I give it to Kirk Cignetti, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yes.
I believe it, but it also helps that
Mark
Cuban gave to the athletic department for the first time ever.
And where did Coach Cignetti come from before IU? Help me out. I don't know.
JMU.
JMU?
You don't say. But anyhow, to the SEC people who are hating on Texas Tech for spending money and taking players from your programs, I don't read the same hatred and vitriol tossed at Indiana when Mark Cuban doing the same damn thing that Cody Campbell did. When Phil Knight at Oregon been selling out money for Oregon for years.
Been doing
Nothing. Oh, well, but let Cody Campbell do it in the Big 12. Oh, there must be an investigation. Tech's doing it. They're cheating. They're doing everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it does. Well, when was the last time that an SEC team was playing for the championship in football?
Ooh.
What, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Huh. So you mean the SEC is not the king of college football?
You got alumnus of SEC schools right now that are basically have already stated that fact unequivocally. And here's the thing, and Will can probably address this better than I can. How many 5-year seniors at IU right now? See, that's something else to me, what's making IU so strong right now. Look at the number of 5 fifth-year seniors there. So that means those kids are what, 22, 21, 22? Some of them might be 23.
Yep.
And some of them, and if they're smart, if you hope they were to stay there long enough, some of them will probably walk out of there with their masters. They got their bachelors already and walk out with their masters because all of them not going to the pros, guys.
Right.
We know the quarterback will probably be the first round draft pick, be the first pick in the draft. But all of those kids out of IU are not, like I said, IU, because, and that's to me when I start looking at the amount of fifth year seniors as our IU program right now, I'm going like that more than anything else. You basically got grown men still playing against kids. I know a lot of folks find that hard to believe. Well, he's 22, 20. That's a grown man. And their muscle development and everything at 22 and 23 is not like an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old.
The Rockets PR people just posted their starting five for tonight's game against Sacramento. Rockets starting five. Alpin Şengün is back in the lineup, starting five. KD, of course, Kevin Durant. Jabari Smith. Amen Thompson. And Aaron Holiday will be the other guard in the backcourt. Justin, Bobby, Mr. Big Texco. Aaron Holiday will be the other guard in the backcourt, starting for the Rockets against the Kings, tipping off in a few minutes. Will, your thoughts on Trae Young being traded to the Wizards?
What was Atlanta thinking? That
for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert.
How did you not get more? How did you not get more?
But Will,
I don't understand that.
But Will, from what I was hearing, there wasn't much more in return being offered.
Wow, that's shocking. That part. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, Kispert and McCollum, and what else? Like it has to be, but you're right. That was my initial thought. Like, how did they not get a pick at least? A pick?
And the issue, they could have waited till the summer and probably would have got better offers.
Yeah.
But the fact they did this now says a lot.
Did they want to get rid of Trae Young that bad?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly they did. Yeah.
Did he? Hey, all right. Let me ask this question, guy, because y'all, in KG, you watched it, and that's your wheelhouse basketball. Does he now get the title of being a coach killer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. And
Nate McMillan. Who else?
Yeah, who was the one that Nate replaced? Who went to Indiana on Indiana staff?
Lloyd Pierce.
Lloyd Pierce.
Yep. Yeah, that's two.
And of course, Trae is a light, slightly built fella. Defense is optional for him. So the Hawks, the writing was on the wall when they did not get him, offer him a contract extension. So the writing was on the wall then over the summer. But to go from that to what they got in return for him.
And they tried to play it up. Oh, well, McCollum's an expiring contract, and no. He is, but that's not your selling point to your people. Like, we got an expiring deal in return.
Last thing, Anthony Davis, Will, AD. Bless his heart, like the elders say. Just bless his heart.
Yeah.
Hey man, kid with tremendous talent, but he can't stay on the floor. Not to be repetitive or going like a broken record. This is what I'm talking about. Folks, kids, getting your bag and everything. That those anchors that come with that's anchors that come with them bags. Now it's called ROI, return on investment. You may think that's not a big deal. You and the guys been in business and don't know how to deal with that. ROI is real. Mm-hmm. And that means after a while, if they don't see a return on their investment, and I thought, Anthony Davis, if he could just stay on the floor, guys. I mean, and I'm trying to understand. I love his talent. I think he's probably one of the most talented kids. When he's on the floor, man, I mean, to me, he can be your number one option when he's on the floor. But I think he's always has deferred. Every time, all the teams he's been with, even leaving New Orleans, but he's always been
Oh, Justin.
Oh, that's wrong. That's so
I was waiting
wrong.
on that. I've been waiting on that. Yep.
That's so wrong.
AKA street clothes. Oh,
Street
Justin. Oh, hold on. Let me see hold on, Justin. I have not tried it on this platform. Let me see if I can find something like that on here. Touche, Justin. Touche. Oh, man. But the best ability is availability. And, okay, is anybody still going to trade for him now that he's hurt again? His wrist injury?
No.
Well, during the season.
Right. No. Well, Atlanta was in the mix, allegedly.
Right.
But I don't think so. Not now. Not now.
Oh, boy.
Can I say this? Because, I have a Cavs piece, but since we're talking NBA, but I'll wait.
Go ahead, say it.
Well, no, just a little nugget that I picked up on yesterday. So they played Minnesota yesterday. They won, actually, 146-134. And going into that game, they were 21-18. On yesterday was January 10th. January 10th, they were 21-18. Last year, January 10th, another team was 21-18 in the East. Care to guess who that was? January 10th, 2025.
It wasn't Detroit.
No, was it Detroit?
Was it Cleveland?
No. It was the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, they were middling. That's right. Yeah.
So the take on that was, they've had a lot of injuries, and honestly, the Cavs played the best game I've seen them play this year. 5 players over 20 points. Jared Allen had 16 and 11. Anthony Davis, I'm sorry, you talk about Anthony Edwards, kept him somewhat in check. He was 10 of 24. He had his moments, but they didn't let him get off. And the thing about that is, 36 hours before, it was a home and home with the Western Conference team. They played Thursday night in Minnesota, and they probably played their worst game.
Mm-hmm.
And then 36 hours later, they played Minnesota in Cleveland and played their best game. So, we'll see. Still have a lot of injuries. Still, no Max Strus at all this year. And he's probably they reevaluated him on Tuesday. He's probably another 4 weeks away from being reevaluated. So, but, there was some good things yesterday. And so now, 22-18, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Pistons yesterday were without Cade, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and Tobias Harris.
Wow.
And yet they played 2 G League guys. The other Clippers about as much as 19 points, but ran out of gas. And lost by 6. They don't play again until Thursday. Some strange scheduling going on in the NBA right now, man.
Yeah.
Man.
So to that point, like you said, Cleveland played in Minnesota Thursday, played Minnesota at home Saturday. Minnesota played in Cleveland yesterday, and then back at home to play the Spurs tonight. So it's kind of like it was weird. A home and home with the Eastern Conference team was a little different. So
yeah,
Western Conference team.
It's strange, but yeah, we're gonna wrap it up so folks can get ready to watch the Rockets and the Kings. Brother Gibson, no, Mr. Moore.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
go to you first, sir. Put you on the big screen and let everybody know your plans for Monday and the Texans.
Monday I'm leaving IIH Bush in the morning, heading to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I will take in the wild card game of the Houston Texans against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought, the Texans, believe it or not, folks, there was a chance, as stated, if the Texans could wind up getting, because the winner out that game after one of those seasons will have to play the number when they won't play the number one seed, but because the Texans were the fifth seed, there was a probability that the Texans could have an AFC championship game at home if the top four seeds lose. So I'm still trying to figure out where, looking at it where everything is. And so far, I think, let me see. Who's playing? I think who's playing now? I forgot. Anyway, but yeah, the Chargers need to win. All of the Chargers, the road teams need to win because what we basically the top four seeds in the AFC, and one of them's already been knocked off. Jacksonville has already been knocked off. Okay, so you really need the top four seeds, all of them need to get knocked off. So, and if that happens, the highest seed remaining, if the Texans remain in this deal, the Texans could conceivably be playing the AFC Championship at NRG Stadium in a couple of weeks. That's a big if. But now since they are no defending Super Bowl champions now, since the Philadelphia Eagles got knocked out, yeah, you know what? Things looking up. We see, but yeah, that's my plans, guys. I jump on a plane in the morning, head to Pittsburgh, and like I told our colleague Kim Davis, hey, I'm coming in hot because when I come in and get off the plane, and I'm got about a 4-hour window when I hit the ground. Maybe hit the room. If not, I'd leave everything in the trunk and go straight to the stadium and just get ready for a slobber knocker because I got a feeling it's gonna be some people getting knocked out tomorrow. And I'm not saying knocked out, concussion wise, but I anticipate it's gonna be a real nasty hitting game tomorrow night. On the corner, I'll be on the corner. I should be on the corner. Depending game 7:15. Da, 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 da. It could probably be 12 or afterwards by the time I hit the corner. KG, who knows?
Yeah, you can find me on the crawl. But I want to say you mentioned Philadelphia defending Super Bowl champs being out. But I said this offline before we started, but I want to put it on wax. You call it a hot take, call it whatever, but I think Nick Sirianni is out in Philadelphia. And I think it would not surprise me if former Ravens coach John Harbaugh replaces him, which will be full circle because John Harbaugh, before he became the coach of the Ravens, was the special teams coordinator in Philadelphia. So that would be interesting, something to look out for. And in your game, AD tomorrow, if in fact the Houston Texans do win, look out for Mike T. That might be it. That might be it for Mike T. I'm not usually a hot take guy. This is not, but Mike T. That might be it that might be curtains for Mike T. in Pittsburgh if the Texans do win on Monday night.
Thank you, my brothers. Appreciate that. And I'll just add this. You can find Folks Talking Sports on IG and Threads. AD, what are we going to say as you wrap it up?
You know what, Will? The Harbaugh situation, let me just say this. Prior to him getting fired, I heard, I was in the media room over at the Texans when I was over at practice. I heard that before the game, this game, before they played. And this is before they, Pittsburgh and the Ravens played. And that was already, I heard this from some reliable sources then that said he could get canned in. And I just sort of looked at it and blew it off. I won't do that anymore.
Right.
Thank you to Willie Gibson and A.D. Moore. Will Know Sports, A.D. Moore, the AdMax Corner. I am KG Chris Gardner, Houston Roundbar View Media Group, which the Corner is part of. Thank you to Justin and Bobby and Wanda Polk and Mr. Big Texco for their comments. Thank you for watching on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitch and YouTube. We'll do it again in a few days. The next Let's Rage Cougs show will be this Tuesday after the Cougs beat West Virginia men's basketball. Be the Houston Blue game for the men's team. Going to wear the Houston Blue uniforms. Let's Rage Cougs will be on probably around 10 o'clock Central Time. So join us for that on the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, as well as on Pod Slamma Jamma, YouTube and Twitter. Thank you for everybody joining us. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Tune into The Corner tomorrow after the Texans beat the Steelers. I'm going to call it right now. But I am KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Y'all know it since 1994. The Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.